Hey, everybody, how are ya? So, I think we're live. As usual, you let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, somebody put in a chat. Let me know that you can hear me. I think you can. I think I got this audio thing figured out. So, how many of you guys are online? So, I guess you guys got the advance notice. I guess about 35 minutes in advance I put it out. Yeah. What do you work on? All right, so I guess people are having a conversations. An earthquake happened. Oh, let's see what's going on here. An earthquake happened today in my city in Turkey, Izmir. I thought I was going to die. I was at the gym. It was so bad. Well, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're okay. Yeah. So I guess you guys can hear me. Sounds good. There we go. Thank you. Sounds good for being 169 years old. There you go. Okay, good. Thank you. Loud and clear. Fantastic. Good, 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 good. All right. So we got 35 people. I'll jump into the main subject when we hit about 100 people, which is about a third of the normal audience. Oh, I got a sneeze coming, so I'm going to have to sneeze in about 2 seconds here. I'm good. I am good. Oh, come on. I'm good. How are you? How are you doing? I hope everything is well. There we go. Howdy, howdy, hologram nunchuck. I like that. That's good. All right. Did not know you were Turkish. There we go. Classic Italian culture. After HTML and CSS, what do you think would be the next logical step for front-end developers? Java. JavaScript. Definitely JavaScript. Hello, Laura. How are you? How is Italy doing? Where's your costume? Salut, salut. Hello. Hey, hey. I am here in the Philippines. Wow, fantastic. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just get a kick from the fact that people from all over the world are watching. Bangladesh. Very cool. Ivano, I just finished your CSS course 2 seconds ago, Stef. Congratulations. Good job. CSS is probably one of the most difficult aspects of learning the web stuff because it's a weird thing. Next, JavaScript. That's very good. Very good. You're in the middle of such change. Yeah, let us know in the comments what's going on with your change. It'll be interesting. I'm just waiting for about 100 people to get back on. We're almost at 180 people. Once we get 100, I'll just jump into the subject and we'll take it from there. Lebanon, wow, very cool. I heard it's a very beautiful country by the sea, etc. Yeah. Yazir, what do you think of the interview process in big companies and the kind of questions they ask, algorithms and DS problem solving versus other approach asking for pure tech stuff? Well, you see, big companies have bureaucracies and human resource departments, and they follow a playbook, but oh boy, that is not. They follow a playbook that's not necessarily super accurate. Unfortunately, that's what you have to deal with. That's why I say when you're looking for a job, you have to look in advance, do some research on the companies you might want to work for, and then plan accordingly. Very bad situation in Italy, almost locked down here again. That's no good. That's no good. Yeah, the WHO, they just said today earlier today on BBC, anyway, a news station UK that they're saying don't lock down. Don't lock down unless it's absolutely necessary because it's very damaging. This is the WHO saying this. Hello, besides training skills, HTML, CSS, JS, jQuery, and React, what should I learn additionally to hire a junior front-end developer or intern? I'd actually learn at this point in time, if you're good at all this stuff, I would learn a little back-end, whether it be Python or PHP or Java or whatever. Learn a little backend and learn how to do Ajax with the backend so that you can send JSON back and forth from the server to the client. That would be a good thing to do. Yeah. That's what I would suggest for sure. So what's going on here? I'm just checking my stream health, make sure everything is cool. All right, good. We're looking pretty good. Okay. Stef, do you review portfolios only for my mentors and the mentees rather in the mentoring group? All right, so I'm going to just jump into what I was talking about here, and then I'll do a little Q&A. What time is it? All right, how are we doing? All right, so what I'm trying to do before, I try to do more of these live streams so you guys have a show to watch, something to do. So they're not going to be 2 hours. I can't do 2-hour marathons anymore. Not now anyway. Maybe once I get some other things in place, I can start doing a bit more. So there's going to be shorter but more frequent. All right, so let's just jump into the subject of the day. All right, so these are a couple comments people left in a recent YouTube video. So they're public comments, so they're publicly available on YouTube. You can find them under my videos. So I thought I would just, they inspired me for this particular topic of conversation. So I was going to read it, give my comment, and we'll take it from there. So Zoltan says, I transitioned from finance to programming in 2019 by creating applications for the accounting department. 70% of business logic of companies are kept in spreadsheets. I can confirm that. Maintained manually. Improving these manual processes saves an enormous amount of time, and that's real added value. So that's a very interesting point. The reason I wanted to bring that up, because one of the things I talk about all the time is the importance of domain knowledge when it comes to being a developer. Having a good understanding of a particular domain, it could be finance, you're working in banking or investing world, or maybe you're working with plumbers, or maybe you're working in a coffee shop world, who knows, clothing stores, education, what have you. If you're working in a particular industry, a domain, then perhaps if you keep your eyes open, with a little nerd skills background, you'll be able to identify potential opportunities for software that you could write, processes in the business or the industry that you can automate. This is all about domain knowledge. Something I said, once you know your fundamentals, if you have domain knowledge, then you can leverage those two together to potentially find some interesting software ideas and business ideas. A friend of mine, actually, now that I think about it, many years ago, eons ago, he was working at a financial institution, a bank, and he was one of the guys who was doing anti-fraud for credit cards. So he would sit there and they would, through a very manual process, deal with potential credit card frauds. And in that, at least at that time, speed was an issue because somebody would fraud a card, and then they would go around doing transactions. So what these investigators would do, the real people who worked at the banks, they would try to find which cards are showing signs of fraud, and they would block them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So one day, and he was just some guy, working low wage, one day he went to his boss and said, we should use software and try to create processes to speed up this whole thing. So his boss said, okay, well, you do it. So what he did is he hired a programmer and, on behalf of the company, and he basically took all his knowledge, his domain knowledge in terms of anti-fraud, and worked with the programmer to put together the application. And it grew out of that, and it was very successful, grew out of that, and now he's one of the top architects of anti-fraud systems for the banking industry up here in Canada. And it all grew out of him working in the game, knowing it personally because he was an investigator, and then taking that, working with software developers to build up software that supported processes to automate and improve the anti-fraud methodologies that the banks employed. That's just a quick example of how he went from being just some low-level guy, doing day-to-day anti-fraud work, to becoming a system architect, if you will. And now he's one of the top guys. Anyway, domain knowledge is the thing I want to point out here. So let's just go back to, so here we go. So here's this guy here. He was in finance. So he wrote out, he saw an opportunity because he saw all this business logic was being kept in spreadsheets. And so he wrote software, and Bob's your uncle. So let's go up here. It's related, but a little off topic, but I'm going to read it anyway. So Leslie has to say, I'm not worried about the industry. He's talking about people. Let me just read it. People need to diversify their skill set to avoid becoming out of date. I've had 5 different careers: DevOps, customer service, sales, personal trainer, IT technician, and moving into developer role soon. It's the personality and human skills that carry me through. Technical knowledge is free online. So, something I've been voicing for quite a while now. I've been telling people that once you have your fundamentals, you do a couple of projects, get some skills. I've been saying what's going to advance you in your career is that you become a better communicator. Not learning another framework, not learning another language. You learn the technical skills when you need to learn those skills, when a job comes up or a particular problem comes up, if you're working at a company, or maybe you have a business idea and you need a certain technical skill to be able to execute on that business idea. But what's universal and evergreen in terms of skill sets is communication skills and the ability to write well, to communicate succinctly and well. I was talking today with somebody who was in my mentoring group, giving him some coaching essentially. And one of the things I stressed to him is you got to learn to be more concise. You got to be concise about the way you communicate your ideas to people. You don't want to go on a long story, especially when you're dealing with decision makers. They have very limited time. And they don't want to hear your life story. They don't want to hear, they just get to the point. And that's a skill. So you have to learn to be concise and be able to communicate well, be sensitive to other people's emotions and feelings. I know that sounds weird on the development channel, but I'm telling you, if you want to advance in your career, you have to think about these things. So career change. What are the broader topics? How about age with regards to career change? How old are you? Well, as you get older, regardless of the career, the profession, it's going to be, it gets a little bit more difficult, depending, to get jobs. Yes and no, depending on what age you are at. I think that the perceptions of things and the way the economy was 20 years ago is different today. I think for older people in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, I would argue, they have much more opportunity now for work now because you can work from home. There's a huge, I think the most of the population in North America and Europe are older. I think baby boomers are the dominant age demographic as far as I know. And so a lot of these baby boomers are still working or they're starting new businesses. So there's a lot of opportunity regardless of your age. Of course, if you're 50 years old, the chances of you getting a job at a startup are very little compared to a 20-year-old. But I think if you're 50 or 60-year-old, you don't want to work at a startup, with career change, general tips I give to people, and it's common for people to change careers. I think I saw a stat years ago, the average person will change careers 8 times in their lives, 8 different types of jobs. That's just normal, so don't worry about that. The tip I would say is that you don't want to be forced to rush into a new career. So what you got to do is you got to plan for the career change. You got to be cognizant of things coming down the road. Always be learning, and so plan for it, and so you can transition out. So, for example, when I'm talking about freelancing, a lot of people want to get into freelance at some point. You don't just quit your job and start freelancing. What you ought to do is you ought to prep for freelancing. So get the skills together, get your website up, start reaching out to prospective clients, and start doing little side jobs while you're still working. Work on the weekends, work at night. So you start developing your book, etc. That's just one example. So there you go. That's all I have to say about 15 minutes, long enough, about transitioning from one career into the other. As typical, whether you're starting off new or whether you are transitioning from one job to the other, you still do your fundamentals, do one or two project courses, and then go out there and do real stagiaire type of work for some small business so you have something to show, build your portfolio website. And whether or not you're moving from profession A to B or just starting from scratch when you're quite young, the process is the same. The one advantage you have, though, is if you're switching from career A to B, is that you have domain knowledge from career A that you potentially could apply to your role as a coder, especially if you have good professional skills and communication skills. So there you have it. That is it. So I'm going to do a little Q&A, answer some questions. Now, I usually get a lot of people online asking questions. So what I did is, because somebody suggested it, and is it still here? I enabled this super chat thing. So if you want to get my attention, I don't even know if it works, in all honesty, but it's there for you. Anyway, so let's just jump into some of the Q&A here. Online poker addiction. All right. Without a degree, are there programming jobs out there for me? There are plenty of programming jobs out there for you. I don't really like web development or building websites. I do like web scraping and automation. So that kind of job would suggest to me you want to do more back office coding. So that means you would work for a medium-sized business, I would say. You know, like, well, 30 people to 300 people type of business where they might need you to do some things like write Python code to automate some file processing, or maybe work for animation studio who uses 3D Studio Max and they use Python script to manage the render farms, etc. So that's what you might want to do if you're not into the web thing. Soren is correct. The Dino Boss. I want to learn to code C#. I'm under 13, by the way. What's a good, not boring option to learn that won't make me lose interest? Ooh. That's personal, but I think what you want to do is, I would say, number one rule, write this down. Write it down. You ready? You want to do 20 minutes a day. Minimum 20 minutes a day. That's your discipline. Even if you're bored, you don't want to do it, just do that 20 minutes. The more often you do that 20 minutes, the quicker you're going to learn, and it's going to become a habit very soon. And next thing you know, you'll be coding all over the place. In terms of fun, everybody's different. You know, some people like getting into like low-level IoT coding, which is a coding for like this kind of stuff. Some people like doing the web. You might want to do some animation. You know, take up a little JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and learn how you can use CSS to do simple animations in your web page. Then you could do some JavaScript to do some animations there. That might be fun for you. Or maybe you could do a little tutorial how to create a game in Swift if that is fun for you, a 2D game, whatever. Yeah, that's one thing I've learned teaching for years, and I deal with a lot of schools. If it's boring, you're not going to be learning too much. It's got to have some interest there. So that's a good question. But if you do anything, try to do just 20 minutes a day. If you do that 20 minutes a day, you'll be good. So apparently the stream quality is going to be lowered. That's what I got this message from my app. So my apologies if the stream quality is diminishing. Internet issues. What was your worst programming bug? Oh, I don't know. you get so many bugs. I don't know. I think the worst bug I had in terms of causing me trouble is when StudioWeb 3 was when we'd have between 9:30 a.m. and 11:30, the whole system would start to tank. Tank mean slow down because of all these students would come on from all these schools all over North America, and it would just overload the software. And I was putting tons of resources on it. I think we had I think it was like 32 CPUs, and it was just a disaster. And at the end of the day, and I've told this story before, at the end of the day, the problem was that somebody didn't index one of the tables properly. That's number one. And number two, there was a bottleneck in the architecture of the application. So we made a mistake. We made a mistake. There was a mistake in the way it was designed. Kind of. I say kind of because once we indexed our table, the problem was solved. But yeah, that was problematic because this went on for like a while, and we did all kinds of stuff and to solve the problem, and it just anyway, whatever. We got it solved, but it caused a lot of headaches. Let me tell you, when you're getting calls from schools and teachers, the system is not responding. It's pretty stressful. Hit the like button. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, thanks for reminding everybody, Rob. That's cool. Is 25 an old age to change? I'm coming from bioinformatics background. Greetings from Brazil. 25. It's nothing. You're a baby. Just do it. Just go. Within the months, you could start being paid as a developer. 25. Jesus. That's very, very, very young. Trust me. Try to trust me. Rigago, I would give everything I have if you can turn that back the clock. And I say, you'll be 25 again, but you're broke. Zero stuff. Zero. I say, let's do it. No problem. Hi from Spain. Well, one reason I would do it is because I could get back to where I am now in a very short period of time because I know what I'm doing now. Hi from Spain. Great videos and advices. Thank you. Wow. Hi from Canada. I'm glad you like them. Thanks for logging in. Laravel or C# Net Core 3? Ooh, that's a good question. They're both good. I think for small, medium-sized projects, I tend to go Laravel personally. How to get from network administrator as a programmer? How to get into network administration as a programmer? How can I get into it? Well, I guess learn about network administration. If you're working at a company, you could approach the network administration people and see what they have to say. Yeah. How to switch as a STEM major? I am a physics major, already graduated, looking to switch. Well, if you already got a degree, you graduated, I would just learn how to code, do what I suggest, foundation courses, couple projects, put up a website, do a couple status projects that you can show, and then with your physics degree, you should be able to get a job anywhere. There we go. David, I've exited a few startups that were technological, but no coding experience. Thinking of learning while I resigned to start a full web stack dev, then invest 200 to 400K into offshore dev office. Advice. Well, you know business, evidently. I would focus on the business application, the use case. There we go. I would focus on the business use case rather than the technology. And then take it from there and then implement whatever technology you need to satisfy that particular use case. I am a huge believer. My mindset is very different from all the other YouTube channels, what I've seen anyway. I'm not technology or code centric. For me, I'm job, money, business oriented centric, if you will. I believe that the code and the libraries and the frameworks are tools to reach an objective. The objective is to build a business or to build a piece of software that satisfies a particular use case. So I say focus on the use case, and then you can look at the technology to implement whatever that use case might be. That is my advice in that regard. Yep. Anyway, there you go. WT about becoming a Ruby coder. Okay, how do I ban this guy? No, I'm just kidding. No. Sure, just again, look at local jobs. Look at local jobs. See what the jobs are like. Make sure that there are Ruby jobs for you, right? You don't want to spend a bunch of time learning Ruby and Rails and then find there's no work in your area, right? How can I get into network? Okay, I got that one. All right. Let's see what we got here. Gurmit Singh. Hi, future. I am 16. Yeah, I just talked about all that, what you have to do. It's definitely worth it. Lots of opportunities. Good time to start looking at this kind of stuff. You're very, 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 very young. So that's great. So we're good. Rob Burns. In 2017, I walked away from my restaurant management job at the age of 49 with no prospects and got a job coding within 6 months. Congrats, see, you can do it. 49. Unfortunately, got laid off 6 months later, laugh out loud, still looking. Oh, well, it is a restaurant management job. So you have management skills. You might want to, I got a super chat. You might want to look at maybe getting into freelance since you already got some management skills. Okay, what's going on? Super sticker, Dave. This is new for me. I just turned this on, this super sticker, super chat thing. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. $2.99. That's cool. Super sticker, $2.99. Pair character stretching his arm forward, raising his thumb. Okay, I'll add this to the broadcast. I'm not sure what that's going to do. We're learning here at the same time. People said, hey, do the super chats. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth stream. As such, viewers will experience. Wow, okay. We're having problems, technical difficulties, guys. My apologies. So I got some chats, and we're having streaming problems. Oh, boy. We're having a drop-off. Is anybody still there? I don't know. Are you guys still there? Can you hear me or not? Because my YouTube is giving me some weird data right now. Freeze. All right, you let me know if I'm back or not. Having internet JP, another super chat. There we go. Do you think hybrids like Flutter will be more popular with 5G? Yeah, I have my general. We're having all these streaming issues. I'm gonna have to call my provider. Who am I on now? Hold on a second. No, we're on the right network. All right. My general belief is that any things like Flutter and any hybrid type of development for mobile is going to be the de facto standard going forward, simply because I did get it. Let me know if I did respond. The de facto standard going forward, I think, is going to be hybrid development for mobile, because 5G is just making things so much faster. The phones themselves are getting so much faster. The need for native mobile development is just diminishing with every passing year. So I think you're in a good position to think non-native solutions. I hope that answers your question. I appreciate the super chat, by the way. I can afford coffee today. I can afford coffee. This is so much fun. I do these live streams. I got so much work to do, but I really enjoy interacting with you guys. It's a lot of fun. People from all over the world. Back now, refresh my browser. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. I'm going to look at this happened in the last few days. We're having problems with the internets. I think it's the COVID, because all these schools are going online now, not just schools, but businesses, so they're flooding the internets. I'm going to have to call my provider, see what we can do there. Back in Black, ACTC Power Up. Yeah, there you go. One of the best albums of all time, Back in Black. Good. Let's see what else we got here. In general, what is better for work, mobile or web? Web is generally more demand, but of course, check your local listings for that kind of thing. Well, there you go. Samario Torres. I saw Torres. Flutter is going good. 80K salary in Flutter. Fantastic. Remember, I took a look at Flutter. I said, hey, this looks like good tech. When it first came out, when it was in beta, it was released in beta. I'm back. Yes. Sorry, Gandalf, for being. Yeah. What can I do? How much coffee in dollars? Depends where you go. You can get coffee as low as $2-3. You can get the fancier coffee for $5-6. You know. And North Carolina, cool. That's a place. I drove through North Carolina last year on the way down to Florida. I did a favor for one of my uncles. He's an older guy. He needed somebody to help him drive down to Florida. Of course, I think it was in North Carolina. It was either in North Carolina or South Carolina, but we got stopped by the police, by the troopers, because my uncle was speeding like super fast. But anyway, that's another story. Artem or Bilbo. Hi, I'm 16. I want to be a game developer. Any advice on what should I do? Yes, learn to code and write games. Just write games. What do you think of SpaceX Starlink Internet? I have not looked into it. I have no particular feelings, but I like competition. I want more and more people to get into the internet game, more and more companies, so that they raise, like we should have all have 5G, you know? Can you recommend an introductory course on artificial intelligence? Well, what you should do is learn Python, because most of the AI is done in Python. So learn Python, make sure you understand Python well, and then go check out maybe TensorFlow or something. Hey, Stef, GitHub is a scary jungle. Have you tried using it? Yes, we do use GitHub for years now. We use it for StudioWeb 3 and 5. I don't actively use it because I'm not actively writing code, but we do use it because it's such a useful tool. But yeah, I find that DevOps has gotten a little bit too much of a beast, become too much of a beast. And I think it's overly complicated for no reason. Hello, Stef. I have an internship interview next Tuesday. Any tips? Yes. Research about the company you're interviewing with. Find out about them. Find out what they're doing, what their goals are, who the founders are, who the managers are, if you can. But find out what they're doing. Find out what technology they're using. See what their competitors are doing, who their competitors are. So when you go in there, you can speak with some authority about their business. See, they're interested in hiring you to see if you can help them with their business. So the more you know about their company and who they are and what they do, the more chance they're going to want to hire you. At the end of the day, when you're writing code or you're, doing accounting or writing web pages, building web apps, what have you, at the end of the day, you're providing a service. And the more you understand about your client or your boss's needs or your employer's needs, the more useful you're going to be to them, and you're just going to rise. I see people are doing more towards JS nowadays, but how would you think having Java as a job prospects? Okay, I'm translating that. All right. Again, Java is not going anywhere, nor is JS. I think that you have to consider what type of organization, what type of company you want to work for. If you're going to work in Java, it's a very high probability it's going to be for a very large corporation. So you have to understand that's that lifestyle, and you may be fantastic. That may be exactly what you want to do. Or if you go in JavaScript way, that could be large and small organizations. So there's a bit more flexibility in that regard. But you can't go wrong with either choice. There's no question about that. Junior Oliveira, excuse me. And I don't even know if I pronounced your first name properly. Sorry if I didn't. Hey, Stefan, I am a marine biologist, data analyst doing my PhD. Do you think web development could be a good side hustle, putting 20-hour a week on this? Yeah, for sure. You wouldn't even have to do 20 hours a week, but yeah, for sure. The web is, especially for side hustles, freelancing, the web is the best. It's got the most opportunity. And this is not a technology judgment. This is just a job opportunity comment. So yeah, for sure. What type of freelancing Python work is there? Just writing scripts or more? That's a good question. Python is big mainly because of its use in institutions, AI work, data sciences, that kind of stuff. It's used as well in web. It's used for back office processes as well. So I don't know if Python is ideal necessarily for freelancing. I think it's a good skill to have. It's a tool in your tool belt. So you may, for example, have to build a web app for somebody, and they may want you to do some, web scraping. So that's where Python would come in that situation. So it depends. As I say, if you learn any of the top languages, you will be in a good position to be able to pivot in any direction that you might want. All right, how are we doing for time? So I don't know how long we've been live, actually. We're about half an hour. I'm going to be finishing up soon. I'm going to be finishing up. Hi, Mishchuk. Rodney, the Red Mage. Hi, Mishchuk Sensei. Thank you. I like the little kimono there. That's cool. Would you recommend still using Angular in 2020? I think Angular is used mostly by large businesses. So, I guess they decide if you're going to use Angular or not. If you're a small startup doing your own thing, my suggestion is Vue. Dominican Republic. Yeah, I love Mama Juanas. That's my thing. Mama Juanas. Hi, I'm from the Dominican Republic. I just started a month ago learning coding. I already got the basics HTML, CSS. I'm learning JavaScript. I'm learning on JavaScript now. That's great. Yeah, JavaScript is cool. That's the progress. HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and then from there you got all kinds of different choices where you can go. Let's see what Kaylin has to say. In my area, there are a lot of jobs in Java and C#, but not so many in Python. I love creating web apps in Django, but I have big problems landing a job. What do you say it's a good idea to do right now? Like one of my mentors used to say, 50 million chickens, that was his name. 50 million chickens used to tell me, follow the money. If people want to pay you to do C# or Java, do C# or Java. That's it. Dabble around with each of them and see which stack you prefer, and then take it from there. Do you invest in financial markets? Yes, I do. Are you freelancing? No. And StudioWeb, your main source of income? No. StudioWeb is one of my sources of income. Please keep live streams on channel. I think I will. I like this. It's kind of a lot of fun. Especially by the way, if you spread around the live streams, let people know, hey, check out this live stream, boost it up. I'd appreciate that. Because when I don't do live streams, my view counts are typically much higher than when I do live streams. Although last few, not bad. Anyway, that would be great. It's kind of like a hobby for me. And it's good for business too, I'm not going to lie, but it's also kind of a hobby. So I like to see my hobby grow. And one of the main points is how many views you get, right? Hi from the UK. I'm 34 in IT support, taking up C++ and aiming for game development, trying not to overthink my first language, but can you recommend any other dev areas that will go well with C++? Besides gaming, I think small devices. I think you see a lot of work in C++ with small devices. Yeah, there you go. That's where I would go. Will Webflow type of platforms hinder the need for front-end devs? No. It would just be a tool set for front-end devs. A big part of front-end development is UI and UX, where the code or the platform will help you implement the UI or UX, but the key is actually laying things out properly so they're aesthetic and usable, and they follow good logic for information display, if you will. So, for example, I launched my pilot program 7 months ago or so, and I just threw up. It was just a quick pilot, so I just threw up something real quick with a template. So I just put up a template, it was just boom, laid out, so it's done. So it's done well, and I'm expanding on that. So now I have my lead designer, and he's working on the UI and UX for the main mentoring program page. And I'm not paying him because he's technical a whiz, although he is, but I'm paying him for his UI UX skill. The technology, whether he's using code or a Webflow or something, is secondary to his UI and UX skill. I hope that makes sense. All right, I'm glad you like that. Any future for Ruby on Rails? I think it's just going to linger out there as a niche technology. I don't think it's going to die anytime soon, but I don't see it growing unless something weird happens. I just don't see it. I do know you keep it, but you know YouTube is a bit arrogant in live stream department. I'm not sure what arrogant. I'm not sure what arrogant. I'm not sure what you mean by that. All right. I think we're getting up there. I think we've done more than a half an hour. I hope everybody is good. I'll answer just a few more questions and I'm out of here. Is Linux a good skill to have for web dev? Yeah, just know your basic commands, especially if you're going to be working with GitHub or something. You don't have to become a Linux expert, but just know, how to open up, how to connect to Linux, how to navigate the file system, create files, delete files, set permissions, that kind of stuff. Startup processes, maybe set up crons, that kind of stuff. Hey, Stef. Oh, jeez. Yeah, hold on. There we go. I shut off my screen. What was it? Any recommended monitor screen for coding? Yeah, just you want to get one of those IPS panels. You want to get a real good panel if you can, whatever you can afford, because you're going to be staring at it for a long time. So you don't want a crappy monitor. You want something that's sharp, clean, has very high refresh rate, so you don't get tired out. I spent 4 hours on my dental clinic, and rest is on learning full stack development. Life is fun. There you go, dental clinic. On my dental clinic, and rest is on learning full stack development. Life is fun. Cool. I'm glad you're having fun, Salman. All right, guys. If there's anything else, I guess that's it. I think coffee or tea. These days, coffee. I'm new to coding. Are Flexbox and Grid really used in real projects, or companies mostly using CSS frameworks? That's a good question. I don't know what the percentage is, but you can use Flexbox and Grid, generally speaking. Oh, I got a super chat. I got to answer that. Thanks for the super chat, Ice. Let me just add this in here. This is new. I've never used super chat before, so I appreciate it. Stefan, should I learn both front end and back end before freelance? If you do back end, just even basic back end, the number of jobs you have available to you as a freelancer will expand like this much. So just in terms of getting jobs, it would help. And what I would suggest, you don't have to go crazy in terms of your backend. Learn HTML5, CSS3, basic JavaScript, just vanilla JavaScript, so you can manipulate the DOM, maybe a few AJAX things, calls, that's it. And then go to a backend. PHP is the most popular in the freelance space by far. And I watched a video I did a couple of days ago about how fast PHP job demand is growing. It's exploding like 800% over that. And don't have to become a wizard at it. You just have to understand back-end, front-end coding, how the code works together, and then you have skills so that if you have, you'll be able to get a lot more jobs, because a lot of jobs require a little bit of back-end skill. Like, can you help me implement this PayPal shopping cart, or I need to create a plugin for my WordPress, etc. So understanding PHP and backend is a very valuable skill set in that regard. And thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. All right. 2 coffees for Stef today. Fantastic. I'll answer a couple more. Should I learn Bootstrap? Just the basics. Just learn the grid. Last question, then I'm out of here. Is it worth for a 40-year-old to learn to code? Yes, I am a cybersecurity engineer. Why not? The more you learn, the more you earn. Since you're a cybersecurity engineer, you understand networks and so forth. So that's a big part of it, actually. It's a part of it anyway. You could learn to code within months and start opening up your job opportunities big time. So why not? You're still quite young, 40 years old. Anyway, I could go on, but I won't. All right, I've been on for about 40 minutes, I think, and we're good. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks again for the super chats. That was the first time I ever did super chats, and there you go. Coffee on some very nice people, and I appreciate it. All right. Have a great day. And I'll see you guys, what's today, Friday? I might do a live stream this weekend. Well, I don't know, I have to see. Maybe not. At least Monday. All right, we'll end off with my ASMR video that at least I like.